Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni viewer, and it's time for another Godzilla-themed list. Fan theories are a fun way for audiences to enhance their viewing experiences, and when you have a series that's run for as long as the Godzilla series has, you wind up with enough theories to blanket Monster Island. Today, I'll be doing a quick rundown of the 4 oddest Godzilla fan theories focused on just the timelines, which, in their own strange ways, actually make some sense. None of these have been confirmed or denied by any of the original creators, but either way, they're guaranteed to get your mind racing with possibilities. So, let's begin. Number 1. The Once and Future Showa Timeline. Most fans accept that the films of the original Showa timeline take place in the years they were released. The one exception is Destroy All Monsters, which is specified to take place in 1999. However, there are some fans who wonder if the Showa timeline might actually be in chronological order after all. According to this theory, the Showa films made after Destroy All Monsters, with the exception of Godzilla's Revenge, actually occur in the 21st century after the Kilax invasion. Proponents of this interpretation say this explains where Monster Island comes from, since the island has no origin unless it was Monsterland first, and also explains the advanced technology on display in the Self-Defense Force during the 70s films. The most compelling piece of evidence, however, comes from Terror of Mechagodzilla, in which footage of Manda ripping through Tokyo in DAM is shown as an example of a past attack. Now, how can this event from 1999 be in the past of a movie set in 1975, unless Terror of Mechagodzilla is really set in the 21st century? One major snag in this theory, however, is the fact that King Ghidorah is alive in Godzilla vs. Gigan, despite being definitively killed and buried in Destroy All Monsters. Then again, kaiju have been known to resurrect without any explanation before. It's a thing they do. Number 2. The creation of the Heisei timeline. 1984's The Return of Godzilla officially retconned the Showa timeline, minus the original Godzilla, out of existence to establish the Heisei timeline, with the only explanation being that everything from 1955 to 1975 simply didn't happen. But what if there's an in-universe explanation for the retcon? In Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the time travelers go back in time with the intention of erasing Godzilla from history, though thanks to the plethora of plot holes in that film, it's hard to tell exactly what they accomplished, if they even accomplished anything. Ergo, some fans speculate that perhaps what the time travelers did was create the Heisei timeline. The Godzillasaurus they moved was actually the second Godzilla, who originally showed up in 1955, and all the time travelers did was delay his appearance by 29 years. This would go a long way toward explaining why people early in the film refer to Godzilla as friendly and unlikely to attack Japan out of malice, a description that only makes sense if the late Showa films were originally canon before the time travelers ruined everything. Number 3. The Partial Showa Timeline. Wherever the Heisei timeline comes from, it still has a 29-year gap in which nothing happens. Surely Godzilla couldn't have been the only kaiju to appear in that whole stretch of time, could he? Well, maybe he wasn't. A popular theory among G fans, one which even I support, is that the Heisei timeline didn't retcon everything before it, just the movies with Godzilla in them, again barring the original. That means that other standalone kaiju movies, such as Rodan, Varan the Unbelievable, War of the Gargantuas, and Space Amoeba, could still potentially have occurred in the timeline. Not every film is eligible, since Godzilla vs. Mothra seems to be a hard reboot for the Moth Goddess, but for many of us, the idea of other kaiju attacks intermittently between 1954 and 1984 is much easier to believe than almost 3 decades of absolutely nothing. Number 4. The Unified Timeline. To date, there are exactly 11 timelines in the Godzilla movie franchise, counting the 2 American adaptations and the numerous false starts of the Millennium series. Although each one appears distinct, there is a theory going around saying that, with a little effort and a lot of imagination, the Showa, Heisei, and Millennium timelines may actually be the same timeline. Among the ways this is justified is to say that each supposed reboot simply focuses on a different member of Godzilla's species, or maybe it's the result of further incursions by time travelers mucking up history. The crazy part is that this theory may actually be semi-official, as Godzilla Final Wars appears to be set in a world where all of the previous films happened in one form or another. This also appears to be the case for some of IDW's Godzilla comics, such as Legends, Gangsters and Goliaths, Cataclysm, and Rage Across Time. However, this theory currently applies only to those original 3 film eras, and may not apply to Shin Godzilla, Godzilla Monster Planet, or the Monsterverse. Then again, perhaps it's just a matter of time before someone figures out how to incorporate them. That pretty much sums it up for interesting timeline theories. Are there any you'd like to share, or any other fan theories you'd like to suggest for another list? As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off.